News coming in of 10 policemen who have lost their lives while returning from an anti-Naxal operation. They have been killed. The Chief Minister has said that the Naxals won't be spared. Let's just listen in to what he had to say.
इस प्रकार की जानकारी है और ये बेहद दुखद है और मैं जो हमारे जो जवान शहीद हुए हैं उसके परिवार के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। लेकिन जो ये लड़ाई है वो अंतिम दौर पे चल रहा है और नक्सलियों को किसी सूरत में छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा और निश्चित रूप से उस योजनाबद्ध ढंग से बना के ये नक्सलवाद को ही समाप्त करेंगे।
An attack on the policemen in Chhattisgarh, in Dantewada, in Chhattisgarh. That attack that's taken place has resulted in 10 policemen who have been killed. They were returning from an operation which is an anti-Naxal operation. Given on the intel information that they had, they were returning from that operation when an attack has killed 10 of the policemen that were making their way home, as well as the driver of the vehicle. This is an ID blast in which 10 policemen have lost their lives. This is a Maoist attack, and the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh has said that this is disheartening. Naxalites will not be spared, and a plan will be formed in order to end this in Chhattisgarh. So 10 policemen. So, to get you a ground report, we have Vikas joining us on the phone line. Vikas, ये दुर्घटना में 10 पुलिसमैनों की जान चली गई है। आप हमें ये बताइए कि ये अटैक कहां पर हुआ है और किस वक्त?
देखिए, अब से लगभग आधे घंटे पहले की ये घटना है। दंतेवाड़ा जिले का ये जगरगुंडा से जो दंतेवाड़ा को जोड़ने वाली सड़क है, पालनार के पास ये पूरी घटना है। अरनपुर थाना क्षेत्र का मामला है और जिस तरह से लगातार माओवादियों के खिलाफ में ऑपरेशन चल रहे हैं और डीआरजी के जवान थे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट रिजर्व गार्ड, और डिस्ट्रिक्ट रिजर्व गार्ड एक छोटी मालवाहक गाड़ी में वापस लौट रहे थे जगरगुंडा और अरनपुर की ओर से, तभी पालनार के पास में माओवादियों ने एक आईडी बम प्लांट कर रखा था, बारूदी सुरंग उनके रास्ते पर, और जैसे ही उनकी गाड़ी वहां पर पहुंचती है तो वो माओवादियों के द्वारा उसे ब्लास्ट करके उड़ा दिया गया है। 10 डीआरजी के जवान इसमें शहीद हुए हैं। एक गाड़ी का जो ड्राइवर है वो भी इस पे मारा गया है। मौके के लिए जैसे ही ब्लास्ट हुई है, ब्लास्ट होने के तत्काल बाद माओवादियों ने कुछ देर तक फायरिंग भी की है और फायरिंग करने के बाद हालांकि अभी मौके के लिए अतिरिक्त बल को भी रवाना किया गया है और जो पुलिस के वरिष्ठ अधिकारी हैं बस्तर आईजी सुंदर राज और दंतेवाड़ा के एसपी सिद्धार्थ तिवारी, ये सभी मौके के लिए रवाना हो गए हैं, अतिरिक्त बल भी। अब ये बात अभी निकलकर सामने नहीं आई है कि क्या जो जवानों की मौत हुई है उनके हथियार भी माओवादियों ने लूट लिए हैं या किस तरह से वहां पर ट्रैप किया गया था। थोड़ी देर बाद इसकी जानकारी भी निकलकर सामने आ जाएगी कि किस तरह से माओवादियों ने अपने टीसीओसी के दौरान इस घटना को अंजाम देने के लिए सारी प्लानिंग की थी। एक खास बात ये भी है इसमें कि एक लंबा समय बीत गया है। 2021 से अगर आप देखें तो टीसीओसी के दौरान माओवादी किसी बड़ी घटना को अंजाम देने में विफल हो पा रहे थे, जिस वजह से ये माना जा रहा था कि माओवादी जो है वो बैकफुट पर हैं और कमजोर पड़ गए हैं लगातार बस्तर के अंदरूनी इलाकों में जिस तरह से कैंप लगाए जा रहे हैं। लेकिन माओवादियों ने एक लंबे समय के बाद एक बार फिर से टीसीओसी में एक बड़ी घटना को अंजाम देने में कहीं न कहीं सफल हो गए हैं और ये बताने में भी कि लगातार वो उस इलाके में भी आकर अपनी धमक कर सकते हैं जिन इलाकों में लगातार सुरक्षा बलों के कैंप खोल दिए गए। जी
तो विकास, आप जो कह रहे हैं कि ये 10 पुलिसमैन वापसी पे थे अपने, दे हैड गॉन इन फैक्ट व्हेन दे हैड गॉट दिस इंटेल इंफॉर्मेशन जिस पे वो गए थे और वो वापस आ रहे थे जब ये अटैक हुआ है। आप कह रहे हैं ये कौन से व्हीकल में ट्रैवल कर रहे थे? 10 पुलिसमैन हैव बीन किल्ड, ऑल्सो जो ड्राइवर है, कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट कौन से पुलिसमैन थे जो उस गाड़ी में ट्रैवल कर रहे थे?
थे डीआरजी से जिला से जो नए बल का गठन हुआ है काफी लंबे समय से, जो माओवादियों के खिलाफ लगातार लड़ रहे हैं। डिस्ट्रिक्ट रिजर्व गार्ड कहा जाता है जिन्हें शॉर्ट में डीआरजी भी कहा जाता है। डीआरजी के जवान हैं, इसमें मूलतः बस्तर के स्थानीय युवक भी पदस्थ होते हैं और ये वापस लौट रहे थे। हालांकि एक बात अगर ध्यान दिया जाए तो ये भी इसमें खास है कि ये जो जवान लौट रहे थे ये 4 4 व्हीलर से लौट रहे थे, जो कि अंदरूनी इलाकों में कहीं ना कहीं प्रोटोकॉल के खिलाफ माना जाता है। सड़कों का उपयोग अगर आप करते भी हैं तो मोटरसाइकिल की मदद ली जाती है, क्योंकि माओवादियों को जब भी भनक लगती है कि बड़ी संख्या में जवान इस तरह से 4 पहिया वाहन में सफर कर रहे हैं, तो हमेशा उसे आईडी बम से उड़ाने की फिराक में रहते हैं। और यहाँ पे भी एक चूक मानी जा सकती है कि जवानों को एक 4 पहिया वाहन से वापस आने के दौरान ये जो गलती हुई है, जिसका फायदा माओवादियों को मिला और उन्होंने बड़ी घटना को अंजाम दिया है। जी
बिल्कुल 1967 से the group is seen as the greatest threat as far as the country's internal security is concerned, have asserted control over vast swaths of land in central and eastern, establishing a so-called red corridor. They operate from thick forests and their operations against the Indian administration and forces are in secrecy. ये बताइए, जो एरिया था वो बहुत ही फॉरेस्टेड एरिया था, बहुत पोरस था जब ये अटैक हुआ है?
देखिए, ये जो इलाका है ये किरंदुल की जो पहाड़ियां हैं, जो आयरन माइंस की पहाड़ियां हैं, उसके आसपास के इलाके हैं। फॉरेस्ट का इलाका भी है, लेकिन जो जिस इलाके में पालनार के आसपास में जहां पे ब्लास्ट किया है, वहां का फॉरेस्ट इस तरह से नहीं है। सड़क बन गई है, नई सड़क बनी है। सरकार ने ऐतिहासिक तौर पर काम करके सुकमा को दंतेवाड़ा से जोड़ने वाली बहुत पुरानी जो सड़क थी उसे फिर से ओपन किया है। एक बड़ी बात ये भी थी कि बहुत लंबे समय के अंतराल के बाद जगरगुंडा से दंतेवाड़ा के लिए एक बस का संचालन किया गया था। कुल मिला के जिस इलाके में ब्लास्ट किया गया है, उस इलाके से अब सरकार या पुलिस के जवानों के दावे ये रहे हैं कि कहीं न कहीं माओवादियों को पीछे ढकेल दिया गया है। उस इलाके में आके माओवादियों ने बड़ा ब्लास्ट किया है। जी
बताएंगे, क्योंकि जो पुलिसमैन थे उनके पास कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन थी, कुछ इंटेल इनपुट्स थे जिसपे वो ये ऑपरेशन के लिए गए थे, वहां से ये वापस आ रहे थे। सो एग्जैक्टली वेयर हैड दे गॉन, वो कहां से वापस आ रहे थे?
देखिए, दरअसल जो पुलिस के जवान हैं उन्हें एक सूचना मिली हुई थी कि उस इलाके में जो बड़े कैडर हैं उनकी उपस्थिति है। अरनपुर क्षेत्र के अंतर्गत ही ये पूरा इलाका है, जिस इलाके में वो एक अभियान के तहत, ऑपरेशन के तहत निकले हुए थे और वापस लौट रहे थे सारे जवान, जिसमें बड़े कुछ 2-3 लीडरों की उपस्थिति थी और उसके साथ में लगभग 30 से 40 की संख्या में माओवादियों की एक
Unfortunately, what we have seen in the past that these kind of attacks, these kind of Naxal attacks always result in a huge number of lives that are lost. Well, we have seen in the past, on the 21st of June last year, 3 CRPF jawans killed in the Naxal attack at the Chhattisgarh-Odisha border. On the 4th of April in 2021, 22 security personnel were also killed. In March of 2020, 17 security personnel were killed in an attack. Back in 2017, again in the month of April, 24 CRPF men were killed in an attack on a patrol party. And in May of 2013, 25 Congress leaders, including state chief, killed in an attack by the Naxals. These are the attacks we are seeing in Chhattisgarh over the last 10 years. Let's just listen into what the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh had said. He has gone on to say that they will, in fact, remove the situation, improve the situation, calling this disheartening, and that Naxalites will not be spared. Let's just listen in to what T.S. Dio had to say about this attack in which 10 policemen have died. The driver has also been killed. They were returning from an operation. They had intel information and they had just come back from that. While they were returning, they have been attacked with this bomb blast, IED blast, while they were returning in that vehicle. 10 policemen and the driver have been killed. We also have Nirmal Kaur, former DGP of Jharkhand, joining us. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. Very sad news coming in of this Naxal attack where 10 policemen have lost their lives. If you could just take us through the kind of information you have, how did this attack take place and where did this attack take place?
See, this is a very unfortunate incident, very sad, very sad day for the police and generally for the law and order maintaining agencies and citizens in general. It's a very, very unfortunate day. And what has happened is that, see, Dantewada, it has happened in Dantewada. Dantewada is part of the erstwhile Bastar district. Bastar, what used to be Bastar area, Bastar district, is now divided into 8 districts. Dantewada is one of them. And Dantewada, Dantewada is Ma Danteshwari is the reigning deity of the royal family of Chhattisgarh, of Bastar. So that is how this Dantewada, they say when Sati, when Sati's body was in anger, then the truth fell in this area, and that's why there's a temple in the memory of Mother's Truth. It's called Dantewada. And Dantewada is a very badly affected area so far as Naxalism is concerned. What happens is they put these IEDs, explosive devices, under the roads, everywhere. And sweetly it is there lying there. They're lying there for years. And suddenly, when they find that information is there, that some police party is moving, senior officers of the police are moving, or some such people are moving, they, just connect two wires. And sometimes they can even do it by just making a phone call. If it is remote, you connect it to a mobile. You make a phone call and the connection is made, and the whole thing blows up. Explosive, the powerful bombs. They are sometimes called cane bombs. They are, what happens in large cans, which are there for carrying milk, 20 liters or 40 liters or 50 liters. Just put a lot of explosives, put an IED, and then it just goes off. The moment pressure comes or, the two wires are connected, the fuse is lit and the device goes off. That is what must have happened in this case also. And this is what is, it's very unfortunate.
And an attack like this, usually ends up in many lives being lost. Like 10 policemen have lost their lives in this attack which has taken place. And like you said, it's very easy for them to target the policemen who were in fact coming back from that operation, that anti-Naxal operation. The Chief Minister has condemned the attack, saying that the Chief Minister has gone on to say that the Naxalites will not be spared.
Gee, that is, the thing is, these devices are there. And this is massive damage, 10 policemen at one go getting killed. And the thing is that there are a lot of false claims being made that we have been able to conquer Naxals. The right way to perhaps deal with the problem is to allow them to join mainstream politics. They should be allowed to come out and contest elections, not to do it in the subversive kind of a manner. Chhattisgarh has been very recently very disturbed. I paid a visit about 2 months ago, and I found that all the possible candidates for the next Lok Sabha elections were being systematically killed. The possible, probable candidates who could win, they were being killed, So Naxals had a, huge game plan over there. The left, left is in cahoots with the missionary activity there also, especially where the Gonds are there, the Bheels are there. And they are converting them. Not only are they converting them, there's a lot of social unrest because of this problem. And these people who are, they want to follow their traditions, they are not being allowed to. And by force, by explosives, by guns, they want to conquer the area. That is the sad part.
The Naxals since 1967 have been seen as the greatest threat to the country's internal security. They have asserted control over so many swaths of land in central and eastern part of the country. If, we just go through some of the attacks in the recent times, especially in Chhattisgarh, ma'am, especially in the month of April itself, we've seen in 2021, also in last year in 2022, back in 2017, in the very month of April, these attacks have taken place. If you could, what makes this particular area so prone to such attacks?
The area is the geography also, poverty, geography, being unconnected. And then, the area is very undulating, not very easily accessible. Now roads have been made. Earlier there were no roads there. It was a very inaccessible area. Now roads are there, but by now they have made good progress there, and they have all their hiding places. And also the poverty, and the illiteracy. And, the tribals there are very simple people. They are easily misled. And also the influence of the missionary activity. That is massive there, and they support the left activity everywhere in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh.
Right, ma'am. So, you have, of course, you know of the attacks in the past that have come out of Chhattisgarh. The Chief Minister going on to condemn the attack, saying that, there will be a plan in place that will be formed to end this and that Naxalites will not be spared. Do you think enough is being done in order to cope with the situations with the Naxalites there in Chhattisgarh?
See, a lot is being done. Central government is giving a lot of grants. Police is being modernized. Citizens are being co-opted. Like there's this Salwa Judum, where the citizens themselves come out and want to fight taxes because it is affecting their lives badly. A lot of, minesweepers, dogs, they're there. But still incidents keep happening because villagers somehow are, the kind of the all-pervasive, eclectic, endemic kind of presence they have in the villages that the police doesn't have. So they are, they are boys from the villages only. They'll have some support, and then they also go from village to village in the evenings, and they are, that way they are really in a powerful position so far as public contact is concerned. And because of unemployment, because of exploitation of the tribals, exploitation of the local poor people. This is historically so, and maybe that resentment also and lack of jobs. All this is causing this.
Right, ma'am, you're giving us a background as to what has led to so many attacks in the past. And, when we talk about this particular area of Chhattisgarh, how you did mention it's very easy for them, in order to carry out such attacks.
It's easy because they've already laid all the circuits. They have the circuits. They've already laid the explosives. The explosives are there in the underground, lying underground. And they can trigger it off anytime. They are trigger-happy people whenever they see police movement.
So, ma'am, they definitely have the information of the route these policemen would be taking when they would be coming back after getting that intel information, after coming back from that anti-Naxal operation. Of course, there was information on the policemen and the route that they would be taking, a pre-planned attack there to, take out those 10 policemen who were traveling and coming back from that operation.
It is an undulating area. There's a hill, and you go, the roads are serpentine. Normally, you'll see an ID will always go off when you are just turning a bend. Around the bend, it's very easy, and then there's, the slope is there, so vehicles coming from upwards to downwards can be easily seen by somebody hiding behind the hill. And also, they have these sharp boys. In these days of mobiles, if you put somebody there, he can easily inform you that this is what is the convoy is coming or some senior police officer is coming. Unke yahan to, amongst the Naxals, the promotions, like if you kill an IPS officer, you are straight away made a zonal commander. The promotions are given based on which rank of police officer or how many police officers have you killed. So
right.
That is somehow the measure of their efficiency.
Right, ma'am, if you could just hold on. We also are joined by Brij Mohan Agarwal, former Chhattisgarh minister, joining us on the phone line. Sir, if you could get us details of this attack, which has claimed 10 lives of policemen, as well as the driver driving them back from an operation, an anti-Naxal operation in Dantewada.
Hello?
Sir, if you could take us through the details that you have of this attack of where 10 policemen have lost their lives. We have Nirmal Kaur with us. Ma'am, you were taking us through, you're well versed with the area. You're well versed with the issue at hand. You said many, amendments are being made in order to tackle the situation as far as the Naxalites are concerned in the area of Chhattisgarh. If you could take us through what's being done in order to tackle this problem, which has lasted over 60 years. We have Nirmal Kaur with us, former DGP of Jharkhand, who's very well aware of the area as well as this problem which has carried on over the last 6 decades. Well, we have Brij Mohan Agarwal joining us. Brij Mohan Agarwal, former cabinet minister of Chhattisgarh. Sir, आपके पास क्या details है of this attack जो हुआ है अभी दांतेवाड़ा में, जिसमें 10 पुलिसमैन की जान गई है?
निश्चित रूप से दंतेवाड़ा का जो अटैक है वो पूरे देश के लिए एक अलार्मिंग है कि नक्सलवाद के मामले में लगातार हम कह रहे हैं कि समाप्त हो रहा है, परंतु हमारे 11 जवानों को आईडी ब्लास्ट कर उड़ा दिया गया है। ये मुझे लगता है हम सबसे पहले तो उन जवानों को, उनके परिवारों को श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हैं, उनके प्रति श्रद्धासुमन अर्पित करते हैं और इस बात का संकल्प कि इन जवानों की जो शहादत है वो बेकार नहीं जाएगी। परंतु हम ये भी कहना चाहते हैं कि लगातार जो राज्य सरकार के द्वारा जिस प्रकार से इसको गंभीरता से नहीं लिया जा रहा है, उसका परिणाम है कि हमारे जवान शहीद हो रहे हैं।
लगता है जो नक्सलाइट्स के खिलाफ जो एक्शन लिया जा रहा है, जो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स लिए जा रहे हैं, वो काफी हैं, बिकॉज वी हैव सीन इतने सारे अटैक्स इन द लास्ट 10 years itself. ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, आप अगर बता सकते हैं क्या एक्शन लिया जा रहा है छत्तीसगढ़ स्टेट में इस प्रॉब्लम को लेके, जिसमें हमने लास्ट 10 साल में इतने सारे अटैक देखे हैं?
और बीजेपी के कप्तान ये सब ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल है, उनसे ही बात करते हैं। सर, एक बड़ी घटना फिर से सामने आ रही है, नक्सली घटना।
देखिए, बहुत दुर्भाग्यजनक है कि लगातार नक्सलियों के द्वारा वारदात किए जाने के बाद भी जिस गंभीरता के साथ में राज्य सरकार को इसको लेना चाहिए, आज हमारे 11 जवान शहीद हो गए हैं। हम उनके प्रति श्रद्धासुमन अर्पित करते हैं, उनके परिवार को ताकत मिले और जवानों की जो शहादत है वो बेकार नहीं जाएगी। हमारे जवान पूरी ताकत के साथ में छत्तीसगढ़ में शांति स्थापित करने के लिए लड़ेंगे। परंतु मेरा इस मामले में एक और कहना है कि लगातार नक्सलियों के द्वारा जो घटनाएं की जा रही है उनको गंभीरता से नहीं लेने के कारण आज इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है कि हमारे 11 जवान शहीद हो गए।
आपको क्या लगता है जो बीजेपी विधायक के ऊपर जो हमला हुआ था उसके बाद से क्या अलार्मिंग थी नक्सलियों की, क्योंकि लगातार छोटी मोटी घटनाएं, आगजनी की घटनाएं नक्सली कर ही रहे थे?
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से उन्होंने विधायक पर हमला किया और बाद में कहा कि हमने ये सोचा कि गाड़ियां इसलिए हमने हमला किया। तो सरकार को ये समझना चाहिए कि जो हमारी सुरक्षा की फोर्सेस हैं वो कहीं न कहीं उनके टारगेट में है और सरकार की लापरवाही के कारण और हमारे जवानों की ये शहादत हुई है। निश्चित रूप से ये शहादत बेकार नहीं जाएगी।
नक्सली लगातार अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज कराते आए थे और आज इतना बड़ा घटना हुआ है। इससे पहले भी 25 जवान की शहादत हुई थी और आज एक और बड़ी घटना।
निश्चित रूप से लंबे समय के बाद में एक इतनी बड़ी घटना का होना, ये कहीं न कहीं इसमें हमको विचार करने की आवश्यकता है कि 11 जवान, अभी तो 11 जवानों की तो पुष्टि हुई है, बाकी और ज्यादा लोग भी इसमें हो सकते हैं, घायल भी हो सकते हैं। तो हम नक्सलियों को जितने हल्के से ले रहे हैं, आज इसका परिणाम है कि लगातार वो पुलिस के एक दो जवानों को मारते रहते हैं, सिविलियंस को, वहाँ की आम जनता को मारते रहते हैं, वो गाड़ियों को जला देते हैं, रोड बनाने में वो डिस्टर्बेंस पैदा करते हैं। तो जो गंभीरता होनी चाहिए, और अगर 11 जवानों का पूरा फोर्स जा रहा है तो क्या रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी नहीं थी जिसमें वहाँ पर आईडी लगी है, इसको इसकी जांच नहीं कर पाई?
तो देखिए, ये थे वरिष्ठ विधायक और
We have Nirmal Kaur, former DGP of Jharkhand, with us. Ma'am, the Maoists, also known as Naxals, have waged this armed insurgency against the government that's killed hundreds of people over the last 6 decades. They say they're fighting on behalf of the poorest. What do you think has been done in order to contain these attacks in the last 10 years, especially given the fact that this group was formed back in 1967? So 6 decades and these attacks continue.
Yes, in states like Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, they've been there for over 40 years now. They started off with Bengal, then went to Andhra. Andhra, now very few districts are affected. Then they came to Bihar, where again it is now, except for the Munger, Jamui area, it is not there. But now Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, these areas are badly affected, and some areas of Maharashtra, like Gadchiroli, those areas are affected. And you know, government is trying, lots of schemes are being made, psycho-ops are being done. Lots of, you know, original thinking is going on. Lot of innovative ideas have been brought about.
Ma'am, have you seen any difference, say, in the last 3 to 4 years in the situation in Chhattisgarh regarding the Naxals?
Yeah, maybe, the number of incidents is less. But that doesn't necessarily mean that their effectiveness or the presence or the strength of Naxal has gone down. It is just that, there are areas now where they virtually have a monopoly. And no one, dares challenge them there. So, naturally the number of incidents are less. Initially there was a lot of challenge, there was a lot of conflict, there was a lot of opposition, which is not there anymore. So the number of incidents has gone down. But the problem persists. It's not that, it's beneath the surface, the problem is there. As almost every now and then we see these attacks in some area or the other, Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand or somewhere.
Ma'am, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also spoken with the CM of Chhattisgarh regarding these attacks where 11 Jawans have been killed, 10 policemen and the driver in that blast. They had gone on an anti-Naxal operation and they were returning back when they were attacked. You earlier had spoken about how easy it is for these attacks to take place.
Yes, the government is doing its best. Government has made many plans, modernization grants are there, they buy mine sweepers, lots of problems and issues are there. There have been lots of strategic thinkers, innovative ideas in policing, but somehow the problem is continuing to persist. So maybe it needs...
Ma'am, if the modus operandi is so well known as to, how they have connectors on the roads, the kind of, the way the operations are carried out, how come not much has changed in the last few years?
Because of, I think it's not public support per se, but it is maybe the intimidation of public. Like when contractors are laying roads, they lay these landmines at that time. And the contractors or the subcontractors or contractors' men are in cahoots with them. Either they bribe them or they threaten them. And that's how these mines end up being under the Pakka roads. The roads were perhaps made 5 years, 10 years ago. But the mines are going off now. Mines can be triggered any time.
Right. Thank you so much, Nirmal Kaur, for joining us with all those details. Very tragic news coming in of this Naxal attack in Dantewada in Chhattisgarh, where 10 policemen and the driver of the vehicle in which they were coming back from an anti-Naxal operation. On the way back, this IED blast in which 11 Jawans have lost their lives in Bastar in Chhattisgarh.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया.
So let us begin the big fight.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center. Conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shobh, 9 p.m. on...
At least 10 policemen have been killed in a Naxal attack in Bastar in Chhattisgarh, as well as the driver of the vehicle. They were out carrying out an anti-Naxal operation. They were on their way back, in which this IED attack of their vehicle resulted in the death of the 11 Jawans. The IED was reportedly planted by the Naxals. As many as 10 personnel of the DRG and a driver have reportedly been killed in that IED blast in Bastar in Chhattisgarh in the Dantewada district. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister has gone on to say, "We have got information about the unfortunate incident. We express deep condolences to the families of the deceased Jawans." Let's just listen in to what the IG of the district has to say. Let's listen in.
थाना अरनपुर क्षेत्र पूर्व हिडमा इलाका में दरबा डिवीजन माओवादी कैडर्स का उपस्थिति की सूचना पर दंतेवाड़ा डीआईजी द्वारा एक अभियान संचालित की गई थी। अभियान के पश्चात तब जिला मुख्यालय दंतेवाड़ा वापस लौटा थे। इस दौरान अरनपुरी एवं सामेली के बीच में डीआरजी गाड़ी को आईडी के माध्यम से माओवादी द्वारा टारगेट की गई। उस घटना में हमारे एक वाहन आईडी के चपेट में आ गए थे। उसमें 10 डीआरजी जवान एवं एक सिविलियन ड्राइवर कुल 11 लोग का शहादत होगी। अतिरिक्त रीइंफोर्समेंट पार्टी सीआरपीएफ एवं डीआरजी घटनास्थल पहुंच गई है। अभी घटनास्थल से सभी शहीदों का बॉडी को इवैक्यूएशन का कार्रवाई की जा रही है। स्पॉट में सीनियर ऑफिसर्स का भी अभी पहुंच गए हैं। अभी लगातार सर्चिंग अभियान जारी है और घटनास्थल की जो निरीक्षण के पश्चात और संपूर्ण
10 policemen have been killed in that attack in Bastar in Chhattisgarh. The driver of the vehicle in which they were returning from an operation, an IED blast, has resulted in the death of those 11 Jawans in Dantewada in Chhattisgarh. At least 10 policemen, including that driver, have been killed in that major Naxal attack in Dantewada district today. That IED attack on the vehicle carrying DRG, that's the District Reserve Guard personnel, near Aranpur in Dantewada district. The IED was reportedly planted by the Naxals. As many as 10 personnel of the DRG and a driver were reportedly killed in that blast. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister has said that the fight against the Naxals is in the last stage. It will continue. He has assured that they will not be spared as far as the Naxalites are concerned. The Union Home Minister has offered help to the state and assured all possible help to Chhattisgarh in this attack which has taken place. 10 policemen have died as well as one driver. T.S. Singh Dio, the Minister of Chhattisgarh, has all the details of this attack. Let's listen in.
It is another very sad day where 11 people have been martyred. And first off, we'd like to express deep and heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased, and may their souls rest in peace. This is a very tough area, and I think it is a strategic expression of registering their presence. Things have been quiet for quite some time. This is the BD leaf season, and usually one has seen that just before the plucking is started, they try to make their presence and they put pressure on the BD leaf merchants. They have this sense of system of collection, etc., which you could probably understand. The viewers could probably understand. And this is a means of expressing their presence and dominance. So it's very sad that we have again lost 11 people there. The government would certainly be alert and will make every effort to see that these cowardly attacks are reduced to the minimum. It's a very, very tough area, and it's a tough situation. Things have been on the lower side, very much on the lower side, but the past month or so, they are attempting to make their presence felt.
Breaking news coming in of where exactly did this attack take place, and what kind of intel information was there before this blast took place?
I won't know the details exactly, but apparently it is at the tri-junction of Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Telangana. And it's a porous area in the sense that it's heavily forested, and it's quite easy for people to move around from one one area to the other. And it's very difficult. The terrain is very difficult to man. But even so, it is the duty of our paramilitary forces and the state police to ensure that no lives are lost. It is certainly an attack from the back. It's a stab in the back. It's a cowardly attack. Yet we have to be present there and make sure that the lives of the common individual, common citizen is protected.
Right. So, like you mentioned, it's a very porous area. It is heavily forested, in which these 10 policemen have been killed. How were they traveling? Where were they traveling to? What information do we have?
It would be in the line of duty. They have built a string of camps right across the Bastar area. And the Naxalites have been attempting to use the villagers to block this movement, not allow this chain of these army, semi-army people to establish themselves. Battalion after battalion is needed there to cut them off, so to say. Otherwise, they had the free run of a very large area. A comparatively small area of maybe 40 by 100 kilometers is apparently left. The last I met the senior police authorities in Bastar, they had apprised me that they have been able to control a fair amount of landmass there. And the swath of about 40 by 100 kilometers is where now they apparently are present. So it's a matter of cordoning them and pushing them into smaller areas, taking dominance of larger areas. So one camp after the other, one camp after the other, so that they don't have access to move anywhere they want. It's a tough task.
So, these 10 policemen were apparently returning from this anti-Naxal operation, and that's when they were killed?
I really don't have the details. I'm not in Chhattisgarh at the moment. But what I have heard is that they were in line of duty. Apparently, they were in a vehicle. Obviously, they would be traveling from one place to another. And they have these mines put up clandestinely. And though the vehicles are there, mine vehicles are there, anti-mine vehicles are there, slip somewhere or where they slip in something clandestinely, then it becomes very difficult. One-off incidents like this do happen. And unfortunately, we lose a large number of lives.
Years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360,
Gadgets love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया।
You with NDTV, I'm Maha Siddiqui. The big story at the moment, a major Maoist attack in Bastar in Chhattisgarh where 10 policemen and their driver have been killed when their vehicle was blown up by an improvised explosive device, that's an IED, in Bastar in Chhattisgarh. As per officials, these are the details that are coming in of this dastardly attack by the Naxals on a police party that was returning from an anti-Maoist operation that was launched after intelligence inputs. The policemen belong to the District Reserve Guard, that's the DRG, which is a special force of the Chhattisgarh police that comprises mostly local tribals who have been trained to combat Maoists. The DRG has been instrumental in several successful operations against the rebels in Bastar, a hotbed of Naxalism. Now, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken with the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel following the attack and has assured all possible help. But this is an absolutely dastardly attack that has been carried out against a police party in which 10 policemen from the DRG and their driver have been killed as their vehicle was blown up by the Naxals. Let me go across to Neeta Sharma for more details on this. Neeta, what more information are we picking up at the moment, especially with regards to the route that was being used by this police party?
See, as far as this route is concerned, Maha, there were intelligence inputs earlier in the day also, since last 2-3 days, that the presence of Naxals was there around that area. So this DRG group was conducting, source-based, specific intelligence-based operation. They had gone to that area, Aranpur area, early morning, where they had conducted an operation, and after that they were returning back. When they were on their way back, there was this blast. The initial probe reveals, or the initial information reveals, that it was an IED blast. This DRG group, the District Reserve Guard, as you were mentioning, it's a specialized force created by Chhattisgarh police to carry out anti-Naxal operations. They had specific information, that's what we're being told. But now 10 guards have been martyred, including one civilian. Total 11 people have been martyred in this incident. The Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, spoke to the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Mr. Bhupesh Baghel, and he took stock of the situation as to what exactly happened and what transpired. He also assured all sorts of help from the center. Already we are being told that Central Armed Police Force, that is the CRPF is already reaching the spot. They would be sanitizing those areas where if there is any kind of an information, if Naxals have moved towards that part of the jungle. But as of now, the latest is that the Union Home Minister has spoken to the Chief Minister and has assured all kind of help from the central level. Maha?
Just a short while back, my colleague was speaking with Chhattisgarh Minister T.S. Singhdeo, who said that this attack took place at an area which is a tri-junction between 3 states. He also called this area porous, meaning that the Naxals could have escaped into the forest nearby. Can you help us understand this area, this terrain where these policemen were attacked?
See, this is the highly infested jungles. These jungles, as you are also mentioning, it's a tri-junction. Most of the areas, the roads which pass through these stretches crisscross over to different states, to 2 different states or 3 different states, and that is why it's very difficult task for the security agencies to hunt down about the exact movement of Naxals as to where they have, gone after the attack. Similarly, in this case also, however, the IG Bastar, Mr. Sundarraj, says that the CAPF, the CRPF is reaching the spot. They would be conducting, information-based operations in that area. But since it's a tri-junction, it would be difficult for the security forces. But with the kind of technology that the forces have been using in the past to carry out such operations, it might help them. Earlier, if you may recall, Maha, last month, in fact, in March itself, there was the CRPF raising day in Chhattisgarh, in the hub of Naxal belt area. There, the Union Home Minister was the Chief Minister. In fact, he had made a claim that in 2024, India would be Naxal free. This attack comes just a month after that tall claim made by the Union Home Minister. But, as we are learning from our sources in CAPF and CRPF, that Naxals, since they are being, pushed into the corner, their area of dominance is reducing. And that is why, to prove their, to prove their presence, they are carrying out such strikes so that they still have a relevance in that part of the, that part of the district. Maha?
All right, let me quickly go across now to Anurag, who's joining us with more details. Neeta, do stay on with us. Anurag, what is the latest information that you're picking up from the ground? As Neeta is pointing out, central forces now rushing there after this attack that has in fact killed 10 policemen and a driver. All right, we seem to have lost our link there with Anurag Dwari. We'll go back to him in a bit. Neeta, coming back to you, the centre has assured all help to the state. Of course, this is a concerted fight against the Naxals that requires deep coordination between the centre and the states. But for the present moment, Neeta, this group of policemen, as you're pointing out, had gone for an anti-Naxal operation. Usually the route that they take is not the same route that they come back on or return. Were all SOPs followed? What more do we know?
See, that's a part of the investigations. Already, the probe has been ordered by IG Bastar as to whether all the SOPs were followed or not. But usually, keeping in mind previous attacks, they normally avoid the same route that they had gone to carry out an operation. What we are being told as far as this operation is concerned, it was an intelligence-based operation. The source-based information had come to them. There was that the presence of Naxals was in that particular area, and that is why this DRG, the district reserved group of the state police, had gone there to conduct an operation. But now that this incident has taken place and 11 people have been martyred, which includes 10 of the DRG soldiers, 10 of the DRG Jawans. The Central Police Force is already reaching the spot. The Union Home Minister has assured the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh that all sorts of help would be will be provided to them. We have to remember, Maha, that these areas are highly infested, Naxal infested earlier also 2-3 years back. But now the area of operations of Naxals has diminished because the security forces have managed to increase their vigil and to increase their presence deep inside the pockets where they were earlier dominating. And that is why we believe what we are being told by our sources in CRPF, that this type of attack now has taken place so that Naxals can prove that they still are alive in that part of the district. Maha?
All right, Neeta, I'll request you to stay on with us. We're getting some pictures from IBC 24 news channel, which we are using right now on NDTV. Distressing visuals coming in, Neeta. We can see that area. We can see the attack that has been carried out. In fact, that stretch of road, it's a metal road that they were taking, Neeta. It's as it appears from this, it wasn't, as you were pointing out, SOPs do not allow taking any other but proper metal roads for these Naxal-infested areas. So it was a proper road, but that stretch where the IED blast would have taken place, Neeta, is completely, as you can see, blown over. You can see the bodies, in fact, they've been covered there, but very distressing visuals coming in. Neeta, once more, I want you to explain to our viewers, while these visuals are running, this area in Bastar, the Naxal infested area, as you're pointing out, the heavily forested area there where the Naxals seem to have escaped as well.
Absolutely. These are the areas in which, it crisscrosses into various states, either 2 states or 3 states. And that is why security operations or the operations conducted by the security forces, it's a little difficult for them because they have to conduct operations in 3 states. And that is why the presence of these camps are a little far away, but still near, so that they can, together they can they can do the combing exercises in those areas. But as you can see in your visuals, this IED blast is a huge IED blast. It's a huge setback for the security forces. In 2023, 10 of our guards have been martyred, including 1 civilian. This DRG group was created by Chhattisgarh police to create anti-Naxal operations in the state unit. Although they are always assisted by the Central Armed Police Forces, that is the CAPF, CRPF is always there. But this operation was being conducted by DRG. They had specific information and they were going to conduct an operation. This patrol party was returning back to the headquarters when this incident took place and this IED blast occurred. Maha?
Nita, before I go across to our guests who are with us now and will be able to give us a better idea of how these operations are conducted, Nita, very quickly I want to know from you the operations that the police party had gone for. Do we have any details about that operation, whether it was successful or not? What was it like?
See, all we know as of now, Maha, because only information is scantily reaching Delhi, North Block, that the information that we have managed to collect is that there were certain intelligence inputs, source-based inputs, that the presence of Naxals was there in that area. That is why a team of DRG Jawans was dispatched to this area. After conducting their operation or manning that area or patrolling that area, they were on their way back. This patrolling party was attacked with an IED blast which took place near Aranpur. If I am right, the IED blast blew the bus in which these Jawans were going back to their headquarters. 11 of them have been declared dead. However, the paramedical staff and all kinds of assistance is reaching the spot. The Union Home Minister has spoken to the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh and has assured the state police that all sorts of help would be provided by the centre to clean up this area and to hunt down the group of Naxals who had carried out this dastardly attack. Maha?
All right, these are pictures coming in from Bastar, where a dastardly Maoist attack has taken place on a police party that was returning from an anti-Maoist operation. Neeta Sharma giving us those details there, also saying that the Home Minister has spoken with the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, extending all help at this juncture to the state. Neeta, just hold on to your thoughts there. Let me quickly go across to Alok Lal, a former DGP Uttarakhand, and Major General Ashwini Sivach, former head of Territorial Army. Mr. Lal, coming first to you, sir. The impact of the IED blast is such that this entire area, which we can see, this road as well as the trees around it have also been uprooted. How do you categorize this attack, sir? We have lost 10 policemen over here in this Maoist attack.
It's a very unfortunate attack. Obviously, losing so many men to one blast means that the blast was very powerful, and one can see the crater which has been created on a metal road.
Correct.
Clearly, the device was a very strong one. As your correspondent was telling us, the entire operation against the Naxals is in its last stages, because the Naxals have now been controlled quite extensively, and there are only certain pockets where they are still active. So I feel that while they are dying out in their activities, they are trying to create these situations, and therefore the police will have to be wary of any such attacks in future also. It's unfortunate that even after the intelligence that was received in this case, we have had this setback. Obviously, a setback like this puts back all the efforts that are being put in by the security forces and the state government or the government of India. And so this has to be taken with a great lot of seriousness, and action should be taken so that such things do not recur, at least in near future.
Major General Sivacha, we still do not know, the status of the anti-Naxal operation that this police party had gone for. How important is it to know what transpired there? Because all these actions are based on intelligence inputs. Is there a possibility that, one could have also been trapped?
Absolutely correct. Siddiqui, see, the issue is very simple. Today the Naxal problem is by and large getting resolved in this area. Now the residual Naxals want to show that they are still active. And this possibly may look to be a trap, because this is fed intelligence by the Naxals themselves by giving an impression that it is a real-time intelligence, and this reserve forest, reserve police, which is basically a part of the police, which is son of the soil, reserve district police, has gone there and they carried out some operation. Possibly no success was achieved once they were coming back, and they also used the same route and the ID was blasted. Now 2-3 things stand out in this. The one is that this can be a trap because they have fed it deliberately, this intelligence, which may not be correct. Afterwards, once the party was coming, possibly they have used the same route which the party has gone. On this route, they have already planted ID. If you see it, it is a road. It means they have taken their own time. When the road was built, they could put the ID, and thereafter they have metalled it. And the ID which was placed there was much more than even the Caspian. The Caspian, the vehicles which are called anti-Maoist vehicle, which we got it from South Africa, now we are making in India itself. That can also be broken into pieces, because the number of explosives or the quantity of explosives used is huge. So 3-4 things stand out. One is that possibly it looks to be a trap. Second thing is the mistake may have been committed by going same route and coming by the same route.
But Major General Sivach, aren't those SOPs very clear? And India has suffered a lot because of slip-ups in following SOPs. And I think by and large, Alok Lal, I want you to weigh in on this. Isn't it being strictly followed now in anti-Naxal operations that, routes are not to be repeated?
Yeah, well, obviously, all these precautions are taken. There's no doubt about it. In this case also, I'm sure they must have taken the precautions. My own feeling is that perhaps there was some let-up in the intelligence part. I think the intelligence was not complete, and therefore, also we do not have all the details right now. We are only talking about what we know.
That's right.
So in general terms only, I can say that yes, it seems that there could have been a failure of intelligence. They did not have pinpointed information about the intent of the persons who have done this. Maybe this could have been a trap. These people were called that side by a wrong intelligence, due to a wrong intelligence that input brought them to this site, and this is what happened. This could be the reason.
Sir, Major General Sivach, as you were pointing out, that this particular force is has been formed, and Neeta was also pointing out, by the tribals themselves who have been trained into anti-Naxal operations. Now, they are pretty much locals. So, is their information sometimes better than what anybody else would have? So, just put those points together and help us understand the possibility of going wrong on particular inputs.
Yes, it can happen.
What happened is that no doubt when you take a troop son of the soil, they better know that area. The district reserve guard, the DRG, are the people of the same area. So they are aware of this area, one, the terrain knowledge, then second thing, they know how the Naxalites operate. I headed a territorial army. In territorial army, we also taken Ikhwani. I'm talking about Kashmir Valley. The Ikhwanis are the surrender militant. We utilize them to fight against the terrorists, because they know the complete modus operandi of the terrorist. Same way as the son of the soil concept, the DRG was formed here. The district reserve guard, they are local, they know the terrain, and they can fight the Naxal the best. But what happened in these areas, that either you walk, when you go by the roads are limited, and therefore per force you may use the same road while coming and going. That can be a mistake made, though there are SOP to say that you will not use the same route once you come.
And
The
sir,
second issue is...
Sir, I'll just interrupt you there. Sorry, sir. But I just want to point out to our viewers, at the moment, we are not sure whether they were taking the same route back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, I am just trying to bring out this issue. I am only saying what mistake normally happen. The second thing which happen is that the trap with these chaps put it, because they feed you intelligence. You think there is an operation, there may be a small operation, and then when you are coming back, you are trapped. See, there are a number of things which can happen because Naxals are on the run. They are now shrinking. There are hardly about 4 to 5 districts which are left because there is a strong coordination between the state and central government. Here what is happening is earlier they used to operate in areas which were bordering 3 states. But now that is not much happening because the central government is giving the support to all the states.
But
the central paramilitary force is giving. I am saying that the chances of success is much higher now, and that is why within about 6 to 7 years, from 400 districts we have shrunk to almost 15-20 districts. So the question comes is, of course, we have been very successful. The development has taken place, roads have come, the schools have opened up, the infrastructure has improved, the drones are being utilized, the satellite phones are being used, but such type incidents do occur. And these are painful incidents, and very rightly, Maha, you say, we don't know what exactly has happened. But wherever it happens, that sometime we make a mistake, our SOP, we have violated it, or they have put a trap. So we have to learn a lesson from that. But I can say with a guarantee that as on today, the Naxals are on the receiving end. Their area of operation is shrunk. They are extorting money from the local, but the people are coming forward and giving intelligence to security forces. So this may be an odd incident, but certainly they will not go too far off. The cordon has been laid. What I told by my sources that the 3 state police is also coordinating with the CRPF, and the cordon has been laid by almost about 10 by 10 kilometers of forest area. They will be gunned down. That is no doubt about it. But this is an unfortunate incident taken place, and I fully agree, Maha. Let's wait for the detail to become clear.
Absolutely.
But one thing is very nice: the Naxals are on the run. They are on the back foot. They just want to show their presence. That's what all. We have to learn lessons from.
But sir, the point I want to raise here, and I want to go across to Alok Lal here, is that even as both of you are saying that the Naxals, their area of operation is shrinking, the number of incidents that we are seeing of Naxal attacks is also going down. But when they inflict injury, they can inflict a very bad injury. Today, 10 policemen and a driver have died, sir.
Yes, indeed. This is a very unfortunate incident. Losing even one man is bad, but losing 10 of them, 11 of them is very, very unfortunate. There's no doubt about it. And so we must look at the details when they come and then find out what has gone wrong. Certainly something has gone wrong, and we have to look at that.
So also I want to once again take you through the visuals that we are getting, and as we were pointing out, it's a metal road as one can see, but the impact of the IED is such that this road has been blown up. There is a huge crater there. Trees close by have been, some of them, as I could see in some pictures, they're also uprooted. The intensity of the blast, Alok Lal, what does it tell us about the impact of the explosion, the IED itself?
It clearly tells us that the explosive was very strong. The potency of the bomb was big. And so IEDs, if they can still put together IEDs of this intensity, they still have the firepower to some extent. So I do hope that we'll be able to find out who supplied this explosive to them and how do they get this explosive, and then we'll be able to take action against them.
Also, the anti-mine vehicles, Major General Sivaj, that you were talking about, are they part of the system in anti-Naxal operations and in places which are Naxal infested, specifically in Bastar, in Chhattisgarh? Is it part of the SOP that for an operation anti-mine vehicles are to be used?
Absolutely correct. You see, Maha, what has happened is that earlier we had a very limited vehicle which we have imported from South Africa, mainly used in J&K. but now it is been manufactured here in India itself, and number of vehicles are given to Naxal infested area. The CRPF using, I'm sure the civil police also must be, DRG must be also using. Now I must tell to my viewers what are these anti-mine vehicles. They were called Caspier because this was the name of the company of the South Africa. Now this is made in such a manner that the blast effect of the ID is scattered, that it does not go onto the body of the vehicle, and therefore the impact is less. But what these terrorists or the Naxal start doing is that they start planting explosive almost 10 times more than what is required. Now, therefore, the impact of the explosive so huge, the vehicle then is thrown almost 20 to 30 meters up, and then it come down and fall, and therefore the damage is more. Now, if you see this Maha, I just want to tell 2-3 things. See, I have operated for 20 years in Kashmir Valley. There are a lot of ID blasting. Here, what has happened? It's a metal road. They have put the ID in their own time. They have done a tunneling effect. They put the ID. This may have been utilized by remote control or by other methods. Mechanism can be different. But the explosive which have been utilized is very huge. And the area was such that you hardly can suspect. The upper layer of the road was made in such a manner that you cannot suspect that there is something under the road. So this point must be seen. It means there was some intelligence being given by the local. There are some sleeper cell, overground workers still working. So we have to learn lesson from any mishap took place. And I agree with the DGP, when such incident to take place, of course somewhere the SOP has gone wrong. We need to learn a lesson. But I certainly say with a lot of conviction that this is one of those operations. This should not deter our resolve to go after these Naxal. They are on the last stage. There are only few districts which are left. Rest they have been resolved. And my take is that no Naxal problem can be sorted out until unless the development is take place, until unless the people of that area is with you. And that is what this central government is doing today. They are bringing a lot of development. Infrastructure has been coming. Villages have been totally electrified. There are basically net also been given to them. There is also schools, hospital. So the whole ecosystem is being changed slowly. But such incident put you on a back foot. But we must take a resolve that we will able to nab whosoever was involved, and thereafter go and ensure those who are residual Naxal, they are also being targeted. And also ensure who are the OGW and sleeper cell who were giving them intelligence. And I certainly feel possibly we have been trapped in this. We have to learn a lesson and to move forward. Maha.
Alok Lal, if as Major General Sivach is explaining to us that anti-mine vehicles can also be blown up if there is excessive use of IEDs, then what is the point in having these vehicles, sir? I mean, how do you protect your Jawans? How do you protect your policemen?
Listen, these vehicles are meant for a purpose, and that purpose is served to an extent, not entirely. Obviously, all devices which are made by the human beings to save themselves do not necessarily work all the time. In this case, it seems that there was no vehicle sent ahead of the main party. We have yet to get the details, but it does seem like that. And so, such a failure of SOP will also be brought out once an inquiry is made. However, all vehicles which are meant for this purpose need not necessarily meet with success. As Major General Sivach said, at times the explosion is so big that even these vehicles are damaged.
Yeah,
yes.
Maha.
Yes, go ahead,
Maha,
Major.
can I add?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Maha, what very correctly brought by DGP. See, what happened is when even in Kashmir Valley or here when we operate, there is a requirement of carrying out road opening drill.
Yes.
That is carried out in the morning in a manner that the area which is on to the either side of the road is sanitized. Also, the road is seen, and then you protect it throughout the day, and then only the vehicle move. So no vehicle can move without the road opening party has cleared that road. So that point also to be seen, whether the ROP was done on this road, whether this was one of those vehicle come, was it a part of a convoy or it was a single vehicle. all these points will be seen and then only we come to conclusion. It is an unfortunate incident, no doubt, and we have to learn a lesson. And let me tell you one thing, Maha, that we will not, as a security forces, will be deterred by this, because today the Naxals are on the receiving end. They are on the back foot. Their area of their coverage is shrinking. The development is coming in this area. People are with the security forces and government of the day. And there is a coordination between the state government and also central government. That is a point which we must note it. The intelligence sharing by the central government and the state government is there. There is no one-upship in the interagency. I suppose that is a very important thing. But certainly this is unfortunate incident has taken place. Let the detail come. We have to learn a lesson. Somewhere something has gone wrong. Somewhere we have also flouted SOP, and that's why this incident has taken place. Maha.
All right, Major General Sivach and Alok Lal, please do stay on with us. I'm going across now to Neeta Sharma, who's joining us with more inputs that she has at the moment. Neeta, any further information that we have? Also, was this a convoy, as Major General Sivach was asking? We need to know whether this was one vehicle or several vehicles moving after carrying out a Naxal operation, as we are being told. And what was the success of that operation that we're talking about, on which these 10 policemen had gone for?
Maha, as of now, we are only getting information, skeletal information, which is reaching New Delhi. As the IG was mentioning, that this patrol party was on its way back to its headquarters when it was hit by an ID, when an ID blast took place. As far as the success of the operation is concerned, that is still unknown. But the important bit is the central paramilitary teams are now reaching there. The focus right now is on rescue and giving medical facilities to those people if there were some injured people, because 11 of them have been declared dead. So the bodies also need to be sent across to hospitals. So that kind of help now is being provided to the state authorities. The Union Home Minister spoke to the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. You know, I need to point out here, Maha, that this is why the Union Home Minister keeps stressing that interstate cooperation is needed for such operations to be successful, because these areas are such that they crisscross into each other. As you were also mentioning, it's a tri-junction, and the borders of the different states crisscross into each other. So that is why Naxals are able, after conducting an operation, manage to just run away to different areas, and that is why security forces also find it difficult to identify them. So as of now, what we are being told, the focus of the entire thing is now on the rescue and to provide all sorts of medical help to the people who have been injured, and to ferry the body of the martyred Jawans to the nearest hospital. Maha?
Also, Neeta, the Home Minister has spoken with the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. Any specific need that has been shared by Chhattisgarh at this juncture? Because the Maoists have inflicted quite an injury on Chhattisgarh today, with them losing 10 policemen.
Absolutely, it's a dastardly attack. It's a big attack in 2023. This came a month after, when the Union Home Minister had made a claim that we would be Naxal-free by 2024. That time CRPF was celebrating its Raising Day in Chhattisgarh only. That's when the Union Home Minister has said that in this part of the country would be Naxal-free. But now this attack has taken place. So obviously the focus right now is on how to ferry all those people who have been injured. Maha?
Also, Neeta, in the some of the pictures and visuals that have been shared by Anurag Dwari, our reporter, we can see some of the firearms there as well. Can you explain some of these pictures that we are seeing, Neeta?
See, these firearms must be belonging to the Jawans who were injured in this attack, the ones who have been martyred, because all these Jawans had gone for a information-based operation, and when they were returning back to their headquarters, this patrol party, it was hit by an ID. So obviously those arms and ammunition which you can see lying across must be belonging to these Jawans. But now the focus is going to be on the search operations, which is going to be jointly conducted by the center and the state unit of forces as to how all sorts of technology is also being used to pin down, to find out whether, because the movement of the cadre was already there, information was already there that such and such number of Naxals are going to be moving around in this area. So developing on those inputs, further operations are now going to be taking place. Maha?
All right, Neeta, we'll come back to you in just a bit. Let me go across to our guests on the point that you had made about the search operations now that will be undertaken. Alok Lal, I want to bring you in here. This area is a tri-junction, as was being shared by Chhattisgarh Minister T.S. Singh Deo. He said that this is a tri-junction of 3 states. There are forests here. Is this a perfect escape route for the Naxals? How difficult will the search operations be?
Yes, of course, it certainly helps somebody to escape in a situation where you have 3 states to be coordinated for a similar effort. I think the central government has to play a very important role in bringing these 3 forces together along with the central forces. So obviously the operation is one, even if the states are 3. Now they have to fan out, they have to look at specific positions where they can expect these terrorists to be hiding. All this has to be done in coordination amongst the 3 states. And I think the overall supervision will have to go to the government of India. So yes, cooperation is important.
Major General Siva, coordination, as Alok Lal is pointing out, is certainly very critical here, and especially as these Naxal operations are concerned, which we see, panning across some of these states. I mean, of course, it's happened in Chhattisgarh, but they have an escape route to other states close by, as there are borders to 2 other states here. How critical has a role the center played so far, as we have seen over the past many years, as the fight against the Naxals has gone up, been heightened? What kind of coordination have we really been seeing on the ground?
Maha, absolutely correct. See, the point is that earlier the Naxals were making use of area which were on tri-junction or where there are border of 2 or more states. But the present government has come out with a policy where there will be a total coordination cooperation between all the state forces also. So there is a coordination nowadays, and the Central Armored Police Force, the CRPF out of them, is coordinating between all the states. Though this is a problem that the terrorists or the militants or the Naxal will try to make use from one state to another, so that it's very difficult to track them. And also the coordination is not there between the police force. But over late now that problem by and large is resolved, because the central government is very clear, and Home Minister Amit Shah has passed a strict instruction that there will be no one-upmanship. There has to be exchange of intelligence between one state to another, and there will be coordination and cooperation, and the CRPF will overlook. I think that problem, though is still may be there, but by and large it has been reduced. The another point which was coming is that the civilian driver has been killed. Sometimes we do that we take a civil vehicle, because it is very difficult for them to make out once the operation has to be launched immediately and there is no road opening done. You have a real-time intelligence and live intelligence, you have got it. You may use a civil vehicle because no one will suspect you. That can also be a trap. So all these things will be seen and will only come out once the actual thing will come out. But certainly this sort of thing can also happen. But I say for one that the way our forces are operating, that in the end they will take them. Because what I could make out is even the Raptors have been, the chopper has been already been used. There have been stops which have been posted almost 10 by 10 kilometers. The complete whole area has been cordoned. The search and combing operation is taking place. The CRPF have made use of it, and all the 3 states are coordinated. I suppose that the Naxals which were involved in this operation, they will be nabbed, but certainly we have lost the 10 brave hearts. That loss will be always felt, and we have to learn a lesson from this. But I say that with this coordination, you will able to ultimately able to nab these Naxal.
All right, yes. I'll request both of our guests to stay on with us. We'll quickly listen into what the Chief Minister has said after the attack today.
इस प्रकार की जानकारी है और ये बेहद दुखद है और मैं जो हमारे जो जवान शहीद हुए हैं उसके परिवार के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूँ। लेकिन जो ये लड़ाई है वो अंतिम दौर पे चल रहा है और नक्सलियों को किसी सूरत में छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा और निश्चित रूप से उस योजनाबद्ध ढंग से बना के ये नक्सलवाद को ही समाप्त करेंगे।
Let's also quickly listen in to IG Police on this attack that the Maoists have carried out against a police party that was returning from a Naxal operation in which 10 policemen and their driver have died.
अभियान के पश्चात तब जिला मुख्यालय दंतेवाड़ा वापस लौटा थे। इस दौरान आरनपुरी एवं समेली के बीच में डीआरजी गाड़ी को आईडी के माध्यम से महोदय द्वारा टारगेट की गई। उस घटना में हमारे एक वाहन आईडी के चपेट में आ गए थे। उसमें 10 डीआरजी जवान एवं एक सिविलियन ड्राइवर कुल 11 लोग का शहादत हो गई। अतिरिक्त रीइंफोर्समेंट पार्टी सीआरपीएफ एवं डीआरजी घटनास्थल पहुंच गई है। अभी घटनास्थल से सभी शहीदों के बॉडी को इवैक्यूएशन का कार्रवाई की जा रही है। स्पॉट में सीनियर ऑफिसर्स का भी अभी पहुंच गए हैं। अभी लगातार सर्चिंग अभियान जारी है और घटनास्थल की जो निरीक्षण के पश्चात और संपूर्ण विवरण प्राप्त हो सकता है।
All right, we are getting some more information that our correspondent Anurag Dwari is sending us, and Major General Sivach and Alok Lal are with us. In fact, these bits of information will help us understand the situation better. What he says is that this was at 11 in the morning that in Aranpur area, in the jungles in Aranpur, a rented car is what is being said was taken. 50 kilograms of IED was used for this blast as well. The car, the vehicle in which the 10 policemen who have died and the driver, this was blown up almost 10 to 12 feet, and there were 4 to 5 cars. This car was number 3 in the third number car that was blown up. The force of course of this IED blast, as you can imagine from here, was very severe and strong. Major General Sivach, would you like to weigh in on these details that have come in now?
Maha, it looks as if they were going in a civil vehicle. That's what you are telling, that those cars
Sir, we will patch with our reporter there, and I think he'll be able to better give us details. Anurag Dwari is just a call away. We are making a call to him because this point is a little unclear as to whether this was a rented vehicle used by the Maoists, in which you know, they used to plant then this 40 kilograms of IED. He'll give us more details on that, but there were 4 to 5 cars is what he's saying, in which the policemen were traveling, sir, and this was the number 3 car.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was trying to convey, Maha. What happened is...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Anurag Dwari is on the phone line with us. Let's get clarity from him and then I'll come back to you. Anurag, you've sent us some details about the Aranpur forest in which this entire episode was conducted this morning at 11 a.m. Can you clarify some of the points that you've sent to us, especially about the rented vehicle?
Yes, Maha. Basically, they were traveling in a minivan, and they were killed in an improvised explosive device IED blast carried out by the Maoists. The incident took place in Aranpur area of Dantewada. Remember, this is the same place where the Doordarshan crew was attacked, and just few kilometers away during the last Lok Sabha elections, the lone BJP MLA from that area, Bhima Mandavi, was killed near Shamgiri, along with his security personnel during the last Lok Sabha elections. The IED was 50 kgs IED blast happened there in Aranpur, and there were 4 to 5 vehicles. This particular vehicle was at number 3, the mini tempo traveler, and basically they hire these types of private vehicles. And so far we don't know was there any security lapse, or the protocols were not followed, because there are strict protocols there in that particular area. and we have seen when Bhima Mandavi was killed, the protocol was not followed. So, and this is a very crucial month because this is the period of TCOC, that is Tactical Counter-Offensive Campaign, which starts from April, and we have seen in past few years that all the major Naxal operations happen in this particular period. Maha?
Anurag, so you are saying that this particular vehicle that was blown up in the IED blast was basically a rented vehicle, tempo traveler?
Yes, Maha, I can confirm to you that this particular vehicle was a rented vehicle, and all the 4 or 5 vehicles in that particular convoy were rented vehicles. And so far we have also heard that there was some firing which happened after the ID blast, but we don't know, I mean, if there is any casualty, any Naxals were also killed in that particular operation, because there were 50 to 100 security personnel traveling in that particular area, in tempo travelers, in bikes, when they were coming from that particular operation in Aranpur.
And also, very quickly, Anurag, you are saying that the information, preliminary information suggests that 50 kgs of IED was used in this blast?
Yes, this is what we have been told by our sources there, that 50 kgs of IED was used in this blast, and the security personnel were acting on a tip-off about the presence of Maoists in Aranpur, and that's why a team of DRG had left to conduct an anti-Maoist operation there. The team was returning in 4 or 5 vehicles to their headquarters when an IED planted on the Aranpur road blasted, killing the 11 security personnel there. Maha.
All right, Anurag, many thanks for getting us those details, very critical bits of information that Anurag has shared with us. First of all, the vehicle in which these policemen were traveling were rented vehicles, as well as the fact that 50 kgs of IED was used here to carry out this blast, and that is why you can see the kind of impact that it has had, creating that massive crater in a metal road. Because of the impact of this IED, the vehicle, this was number 3 in that convoy which had 4 to 5 vehicles. The number 3 vehicle almost blew up 10 to 12 feet in the air because of the impact of this blast. Anurag Dwari getting us those details. Let me now go across to Arun Sahu. He is the state BJP president. अरुण जी, बहुत ज़्यादा क्षति हुई है इसमें पुलिस वालों की, भारत की। यहाँ पे नक्सलवादियों ने जो यहाँ पर अटैक किया है उसमें 10 पुलिसमैन और 1 ड्राइवर की मृत्यु हो गई। सर, ये रेंटेड व्हीकल्स में चल रहे थे, क्या SOPs फॉलो नहीं हुई? इन सब की इन्वेस्टिगेशन आप डिमांड करेंगे? आप अरुण साहू जी हमारे साथ हैं आप? All right, we'll try and reconnect with Arun Sahu, the state BJP president. For the moment, let me now go across to our 2 guests who are with us, Major General Sivach and Alok Lal. Major General Sivach, I think Anurag has given us quite a bit of clarity on this situation. Is it surprising and appalling that the police party was moving around in rented vehicles?
No, Maha, it happens in basically anti-Naxal or anti-terrorist militant operation.
Okay.
Sometimes you do move in a civil hard transport. These are called CST, because the point is that you get an intelligence and you have to act very fast. And in those roads, if the road opening has not been done, so you cannot move the government vehicle, because this can be easily made out. But once you move in a civil hard transport, then the Naxal or the militants can't make out that it is a government vehicle or it is a normal civilian vehicle. So sometimes this operation you do take a civil hard transport, but to me it looks like that it's purely my appreciation that it's seemingly it's a trap. They have fed our intelligence in a manner that you have gone and done an operation, and when you are coming back, they were waiting for an opportune moment, and they have laid a ID and they have activated the ID. When this vehicle has come the middle of it, it means that in a manner that the damage is maximum. That it can be on not only this vehicle, the damage can be on a vehicle which is in front and in the rear, and there is no chance of missing it. And to me, it looks like that possibly this was done by the ID which was initiated by someone who was sitting close by. So therefore, and the ambush was also late. So this is a very well planned ambush come ID which have been done by the Naxal, and they have fed this. It means there are some sleeper cell, there are overground workers which are working there, and this must be investigated. I'm sure they will go into this. But saying that you never use the civil vehicle in this operation, may not be.
Investigation, sir. I'll just want to go back to Arun Sao. We have the line with him now. He's the state BJP president. Arun Sao जी, बहुत बड़ी क्षति हुई है. यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन की डिमांड होगी क्या? कोई SOPs में स्लिप अप था? इतनी बड़ी यहाँ पे पुलिस पार्टी, 10 लोगों की मौत हो गई, एक ड्राइवर की भी मौत हो गई, 11 लोग की मृत्यु हो गई है इसमें.
दंतेवाड़ा के अरनपुर थाना क्षेत्र में हमने छत्तीसगढ़ महतारी के 11 बेटों को खोया है. मैं इन सभी 11 के प्रति अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं, इन्हें नमन करता हूं और इनके परिजनों के प्रति अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं. निश्चित रूप से इस घटना की जितनी निंदा की जाए, जितनी भर्त्सना की जाए, कम है. और ये घटना ने बता दिया कि राज्य सरकार जो लगातार दावे कर रही थी, राज्य सरकार के दावों की पोल खुली है. निश्चित रूप से हमारे इन बेटों का शहादत व्यर्थ न जाए, इसके लिए पूरी गंभीरता से काम करने की जरूरत है कि ये घटना घटी क्यों, दोबारा इस तरह की घटनाएं ना हो, इसकी योजना और चिंता हम सबको मिलकर करनी पड़ेगी.
अरुण साहू जी, ये बताइए कि अभी इस वक्त जो जरूरी है वो है कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एक साथ मिलकर कोशिश करें कि जिन नक्सलवादियों ने ये अटैक कैरी आउट किया है उनको पकड़ा जाए, सर्च ऑपरेशन अच्छे से कैरी आउट करा जाए. उसके बारे में क्या सेंटर क्या हेल्प दे रही है?
देखिए, भारत सरकार तो हर प्रकार से मदद कर रही है राज्य सरकार को नक्सल उन्मूलन के लिए, पर प्रोएक्टिव होकर काम तो राज्य सरकार को करना पड़ेगा. पर राज्य सरकार स्वयं ही ये दावा करने लगे कि हमने माओवादियों को पीछे खदेड़ दिया है, नियंत्रित कर लिया है, तो ये कैसे होगा? और इसलिए राज्य सरकार को अभी समझना चाहिए कि नक्सलवाद अभी समाप्त हुआ नहीं है, शहरों के नजदीक तक आ गए हैं, कभी भी किसी भी घटना को अंजाम ये दे सकते हैं. ये राज्य सरकार को मानना चाहिए और उसके आधार पर अपने आगे की रणनीति तय करना चाहिए. भारत सरकार तो हर प्रकार से मदद देने के लिए.
All right, we seem to have lost our line there with Arun Sao, but we'll try and reconnect with him. We also have with us Deepak Baid, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha from Bastar. Deepak Baid जी, आपने अरुण साव को वहाँ पे सुना, वो कह रहे हैं कि जो राज्य सरकार है वो बड़े-बड़े दावे कर रही है कि नक्सलवाद ख़त्म होने की कगार पे है, लेकिन इतनी बड़ी क्षति आज हो गई है, 11 लोगों की मौत हो गई है. वो कह रहे हैं कि इस पर जवाबदेही बनती है जो कांग्रेस की सरकार है वहां पर छत्तीसगढ़ में.
निश्चित रूप से आज का जो घटना है चिंताजनक है और हम लोग इस घटना से सभी लोग स्तब्ध है. इस तरह की घटनाएं नहीं होना चाहिए, राज्य सरकार इसके लिए काम कर रही है. लेकिन जिस तरह से देखेंगे पिछले 4 सालों से नक्सली कहीं ना कहीं बैकफुट में है, समाप्त नहीं है. हम हमेशा हमारी सरकार हम लोग दावा करते हैं कि नक्सली बैकफुट में समाप्त नहीं हुई है. बैकफुट में इस वजह से नक्सलियों को बौखलाहट है कि वो कहीं ना कहीं बड़ी घटना को अंजाम देने में ये सफल हुई है और ये संदेश देना चाह रहे हैं इस घटना के माध्यम से कि हम लोग अभी भी उपस्थित हैं. लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी को की लाशों पे राजनीति करने का उनका पुरानी आदत है, वो आदत नहीं जाएगी. हम इस पे राजनीति नहीं करना चाहिए क्योंकि अभी हम लोग का समय है जवानों का मनोबल बढ़ाना और जो परिवार शहीद हुए हैं उन परिवार के प्रति हम लोग को संवेदना व्यक्त करना, ये हम लोग का सबसे पहले कर्तव्य है और उनका मनोबल बढ़ाए. लेकिन जिस तरह से जो घटना घटित है वास्तव में चिंताजनक है और ये जो समय है ये नक्सलियों के लिए ज्यादा मनोबल है ये समय, और ये समय में इस घटना को अंजाम हमेशा देते हैं. आप पिछले समय देखें कि हर महीना एक बड़ी घटना होती थी, लेकिन मुख्यमंत्री भूपेश बघेल और हमारी सरकार बनने के बाद कि ये घटनाएं साल में एक बार हो रही है, तो ये घटनाएं नहीं होना चाहिए. हमारी सरकार चाहती है कि साल में एक बार भी घटना न हो, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि नक्सलियों की सूचना के आधार पर कहीं ना कहीं हमारी फोर्सेस मूवमेंट करने गई थी, वो घेरने गई थी और वापसी के दौरान ये घटना को अंजाम दिया गया कि एम्बुलेंस लगाकर कि आईडी ब्लास्ट करके हमारे 10+1 11 लोग मारे गए, 11 जवान मारे गए. तो कहीं ना कहीं बड़ा क्षति है। निश्चित रूप से शासन प्रशासन इस पर इसकी समीक्षा की जाएगी और बेहतर रणनीति के साथ आगे और नक्सलियों के खिलाफ ये अभियान चलाएगा।
दीपक वैद जी, बहुत संक्षेप में हमें बताइए कि इस वक्त सर्च ऑपरेशंस कैसे चल रहे हैं और सेंटर से क्या मदद मांगी है स्टेट ने?
देखिए, सेंट्रल काम है कि फोर्सेस देना। छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार जो भी फोर्सेस मांगे तो सेंट्रल ने फोर्सेस दिए हैं और अभी गृह मंत्री अमित शाह भी आए, जगदलपुर आए, सीआरपीएफ के कार्यक्रम में भी आए और जगरगुंडे सॉरी हमारे ये सुकमा के एरिया में भी गए, सीआरपीएफ वालों से वहाँ फोर्सेस पे चर्चा की। तो ये कोई छोटा मोटा अभियान नहीं है, बड़ा अभियान है। ये स्टेट का ही नहीं है मामला, ये सेंट्रल का भी है। दोनों को समन्वय बना के काम करना चाहिए और कर रहे हैं दोनों समन्वय बना के, और इसी का नतीजा कहीं ना कहीं नक्सली आज बैकफुट में है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं अपना उपस्थिति दर्ज कराने के लिए इस तरह की घटनाओं को अंजाम देते हैं, जो इस तरह घटनाओं को हम लोग के एक अच्छे रणनीति के साथ, इसको अच्छे प्लानिंग के साथ इस घटनाओं को रोकने की आवश्यकता है।
दीपक वैद, हमसे इस वक्त ये जानकारी जो आप दे रहे हैं उसके लिए शुक्रिया। दिस इज़ अ टेरिबल टाइम देयर फॉर द छत्तीसगढ़ गवर्नमेंट एंड for India in general, considering that we have lost 10 policemen, 1 driver who were on their way back from an anti-Naxal operation. This is a big injury that the Naxals have been able to inflict on the forces. This was a special force that we are talking about, which was on this operation. This force is largely made up of the locals, the tribals who have been trained to, in fact, be able to take on the Maoists in that area, the Naxal infested area, Dantewada, Bastar, that we are talking about over here in Chhattisgarh. But huge injury inflicted, a dastardly attack there by the Maoists that has been carried out using an IED, an improvised explosive device. 50 kgs of that device used. The impact of the blast is such, as you can see on your television screens, making a huge crater in a metal road, and the third vehicle in a convoy of 4 to 5 vehicles blew up almost 10 to 12 feet because of the impact of this blast, in which 10 policemen have lost their lives and the driver of the vehicle as well. We're taking a very quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Namaskar, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Welcome to a news.
In a deeply polarized world where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, Right and Center with me, Vishnu Shobh, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for 2 to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for 2. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया.
So let us begin the big fight.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shom, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
Years since we started, this music has been
A dastardly Maoist attack that has taken place in Chhattisgarh, where 10 policemen and a driver have been killed when their vehicle was blown up by an improvised explosive device, that's an IED, in Dantewada in Chhattisgarh. The policemen were returning from an anti-Maoist operation that was launched after intelligence inputs. The policemen belong to the District Reserve Guard, that is the DRG, a special force of the Chhattisgarh police that comprises mostly local tribals who've been trained to combat Maoists. The DRG has been instrumental in several successful operations against the rebels in Bastar, a hotbed of Naxalism. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken with the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel following the attack and assured all possible help. But the injury inflicted has been huge. 10 cops have been killed in this attack, and one driver who was driving this particular vehicle has been killed in that attack. 50 kgs of explosive device were used by the Maoists.
इस प्रकार की जानकारी है और ये बेहद दुखद है और मैं जो हमारे जो जवान शहीद हुए हैं उसके परिवार के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। लेकिन जो ये लड़ाई है वो अंतिम दौर पे चल रहा है और नक्सलियों को किसी सूरत में छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा और निश्चित रूप से उस योजनाबद्ध ढंग से बना के ये नक्सलवाद को ही समाप्त करेंगे।
वहाँ कुछ दूरी में नक्सली छिपे होने की गोपनीय जानकारी थी। डीआरजी के जवान रवाना किए गए थे। सर्चिंग के बाद लौट रहे थे तो आईडी ब्लास्ट किया गया है, जिसमें 10 जवान और एक ड्राइवर की मृत्यु हुई है। कुल 11 लोगों की शहीद हुए हैं 11 लोग, ऐसी जानकारी अभी मिल रही है। एक्स्ट्रा फोर्स सपोर्टिंग फोर्स रवाना कर दिया गया है। कुछ समय पश्चात जब वो आ जाएंगे और सपोर्टिंग पार्टी चली जाएगी तब विस्तृत जानकारी मिलेगी।
अभियान के पश्चात तब जिला मुख्यालय दंतेवाड़ा वापस लौटा थे। इस दौरान आरनपुरी एवं सामेली के बीच में डीआरजी गाड़ी को आईडी के माध्यम से महोदय द्वारा टारगेट की गई। उस घटना में हमारे एक वाहन आईडी के चपेट में आ गए थे। उसमें 10 डीआरजी जवान एवं एक सिविलियन ड्राइवर कुल 11 लोग का शहादत हो गई। अतिरिक्त रीइंफोर्समेंट पार्टी सीआरपीएफ एवं डीआरजी घटनास्थल पहुंच गई है। अभी घटनास्थल से सभी शहीदों का बॉडी को इवैक्यूएशन का कार्रवाई की जा रही है। स्पॉट में सीनियर ऑफिसर्स का भी अभी पहुंच गए हैं। अभी लगातार सर्चिंग अभियान जारी है और घटनास्थल की जो निरीक्षण के पश्चात और संपूर्ण विवरण प्राप्त हो सकता।
दंतेवाड़ा जिला के अरनपुर में जो नक्सली हमले में 11 नौजवानों के शहीद होने का समाचार मिला है, ये समाचार अत्यंत हृदय विदारक है, दुखद है और इस घटना की जितनी भर्त्सना की जाए, जितनी निंदा की जाए वो कम है। मैं वीर शहीदों के प्रति अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं। उनके परिजनों के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं।
It is another very sad day where 11 people have been martyred. And first off, we'd like to express deep and heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased, and may their souls rest in peace. This is a very tough area, and I think it is a strategic expression of registering their presence. Things have been quiet for quite some time. This is the BD leaf season, and usually one has seen that just before the plucking is started, they try to make their presence and they put pressure on the BD leaf merchants. They have this sense of system of collection, etc., which you could probably understand. The viewers could probably understand. And this is a means of expressing their presence and dominance. So it's very sad that we have again lost 11 people there. The government would certainly be alert and will make every effort to see that these cowardly attacks are reduced to the minimum. It's a very, very tough area, and it's a tough situation. Things have been on the lower side, very much on the lower side, but the past month or so, they are attempting to make their presence felt.
Breaking news coming in of where exactly did this attack take place, and what kind of intel information was there before this blast took place?
I won't know the details exactly, but apparently it is at the tri-junction of Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Telangana. And it's a porous area in the sense that it's heavily forested, and it's quite easy for people to move around from one area to the other. And it's very difficult, the terrain is very difficult to man. But even so, it is the duty of our paramilitary forces and the state police to ensure that no lives are lost. It is certainly an attack from the back. It's a stab in the back. It's a cowardly attack. Yet we have to be present there and make sure that the lives of the common individual, common citizen is protected.
Right. So, like you mentioned, it's a very porous area. It is heavily forested, in which these 10 policemen have been killed. How were they traveling? Where were they traveling to? What information do we have?
It would be in the line of duty. They have built a string of camps right across the Bastar area, and the Naxalites have been attempting to use the villagers to block this movement, not allow this chain of these semi-army people to establish themselves. Battalion after battalion is needed there to cut them off, so to say. Otherwise, they had the free run of a very large area. A comparatively small area of maybe 40 by 100 kilometers is apparently left. The last I met the senior police authorities in Bastar, they had apprised me that they have been able to control a fair amount of landmass there. And the swath of about 40 by 100 kilometers is where now they apparently are present. So it's a matter of cordoning them and pushing them into smaller areas, taking dominance of larger areas. So one camp after the other, one camp after the other, so that they don't have access to move anywhere they want. It's a tough task.
So, sir, these 10 policemen were apparently returning from this anti-Naxal operation, and that's when they were killed?
I really don't have the details. I'm not in Chhattisgarh at the moment. But what I have heard is that they were in line of duty. Apparently, they were in a vehicle. Obviously, they would be traveling from one place to another. And they have these mines put up clandestinely. And though the vehicles are there, mine vehicles are there, anti-mine vehicles are there, slip somewhere or where they slip in something clandestinely, then it becomes very difficult. One-off incidents like this do happen. And unfortunately, we lose a large number of lives.
Let me go across now to Brijmohan Agarwal, a leader from the Bharatiya Janata Party from the state. Brijmohan ji, this is a big attack by the Maoists in which 11 of our people have lost their lives, 10 policemen, 1 driver. किस तरह से अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना चाहिए सर, क्योंकि क्या SOPs फॉलो हुई थी कि नहीं, इतनी बड़ी क्षति कैसे हो गई एक ही बार में?
देखिए, ये बहुत बड़ी घटना है और ये दुखद भी है, ये आश्चर्यजनक भी है। बहुत लंबे समय के बाद में नक्सलियों ने इतनी बड़ी घटना करने की हिम्मत की है। ये निश्चित रूप से कि हमेशा जब भी कोई पुलिस का या सुरक्षा दलों का मूवमेंट होता है तो रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी सामने चलती है। तो रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी ब्लास्ट को उन्होंने डिटेक्ट क्यों नहीं कर पाई, और साथ में इंटेलिजेंस फेल्योर भी इसमें शो होता है। और लगातार नक्सलियों ने अभी 5 दिन पहले एक कांग्रेस के MLA के काफिले के ऊपर में हमला किया। अभी उन्होंने रोड बनाने वाली जो इक्विपमेंट्स हैं, गाड़ियां हैं, उनको उन्होंने जलाया। लगभग रोज एक सिविलियन को मुखबिर के नाम से वो मार देते हैं। और हम लोगों ने पहले ये शंका व्यक्त की थी कि जैसे जैसे चुनाव नजदीक आएंगे, नक्सलवादी गतिविधियां बढ़ेंगी, शासन प्रशासन को उसमें सक्रिय होना चाहिए और एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहिए। मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं जो शासन की प्रशासन की लापरवाही है और जितनी गंभीरता से नक्सलियों को लेना चाहिए उतनी गंभीरता से नहीं लेने के कारण आज हमारे 11 जवान शहीद हुए हैं। ये बहुत भी दुर्भाग्यजनक और दुखद घटना है और कहीं ना कहीं इसमें लापरवाही है और उसके लिए जो लोग भी दोषी हैं उनके खिलाफ में कड़ी कार्रवाई होना चाहिए। और अगर उन्होंने हमारे 11 नक्सलियों को 11 जवानों को मारा है तो हम 110 नक्सलियों को मारकर और उसका बदला।
लेकिन बृजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, ये जो बृजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, सर्च ऑपरेशंस तभी अच्छे से पॉसिबल हैं जब 3 राज्य जो है उनमें कोऑर्डिनेशन हो सेंटर के साथ, क्योंकि जो ये एरिया है वो बताया जा रहा है ट्राई जंक्शन पे है 3 स्टेट्स के। तो किस तरह से कोऑर्डिनेशन करना चाहिए?
देखिए, ज्वाइंट एफर्ट, ज्वाइंट कमांड, ज्वाइंट पॉलिसी और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने इसके लिए ज्वाइंट कमांड के लिए ज्वाइंट पॉलिसी बनाई है। कि राज्य की पुलिस के नक्सलवादी मध्य प्रदेश में मारे जाते हैं, उसमें मारे जाते हैं, उसमें लगता है कहीं ना कहीं छत्तीसगढ़ की लापरवाही है और उसके कारण नहीं कर पाए। तीनों राज्यों की ज्वाइंट फोर्सेस इकट्ठी होकर अभियान चलाकर और उनके खिलाफ में अगर कार्रवाई की जाती है तो निश्चित रूप से हमारे जवान जो शहीद हुए हैं उसका बदला हम ले सकते हैं और नक्सलियों को हम चैलेंज कर सकते हैं। उनकी समाप्ति का समय आ गया है।
बृजमोहन जी, बार बार ऐसा कहा जाता है कि नक्सलवाद अब भारत में अपने आखिरी चरण पर है, छटपटाए हुए हैं कहा जा रहा है, इसलिए इस तरह के अटैक कर रहे हैं। लेकिन 50 किलोग्राम IED इकट्ठा करना, उसको लगाना, इतनी बड़ी क्षति देना, इससे तो अभी कुछ और ही लग रही है स्थिति।
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से पूरे देश में नक्सलवाद समाप्ति की तरफ है, परंतु छत्तीसगढ़ उनके लिए स्ट्रेटेजिक है। जो हम तिरुपति से पशुपति तक की बात करते हैं, अगर छत्तीसगढ़ से वो खत्म हो जाएंगे तो पूरे देश से खत्म हो जाएंगे। और इससे छत्तीसगढ़ में उनके खिलाफ में बड़ी कार्रवाई करने की आवश्यकता है। छत्तीसगढ़ को उन्होंने स्ट्रेटेजिक बनाकर वो तेलंगाना में शरण लेते हैं, वो उड़ीसा में शरण लेते हैं, वो महाराष्ट्र में शरण लेते हैं और कार्रवाइयां छत्तीसगढ़ में करते हैं। इसलिए छत्तीसगढ़ में वो अपने वजूद को बनाए रखना चाहते हैं और उसके कारण लगातार यहाँ पर वो एक्टिविटीज करते हैं और फोर्सेस का भी मॉरल डिमोरलाइज करते हैं। तो उसमें शासन प्रशासन को इस बात को समझकर, उनकी स्ट्रेटेजी को समझकर और उनको किस प्रकार से उनका सामना किया जा सकता है, उनको कैसे समाप्त किया जा सकता है, इस दिशा में हमको काम करना होगा। और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से लगातार जो फंडिंग्स मिल रही है आर्म्स एमुनेशन के लिए, फोर्सेस के लिए, आज छत्तीसगढ़ में 10,000 पुलिस फोर्सेस के जवानों की कमी है, जो रिक्रूटमेंट होना है। हमको उनको लड़कर और लड़ने वाले लोगों को हमको तैयार कर उनको समाप्त करना होगा।
और अभी जो हमने इस वक्त जो खबर आई है हमारे पास प्रिलिमिनरी, वो ये भी है कि ये जो पार्टी थी, पुलिस पार्टी सर, वो रेंटेड गाड़ी में थी, क्योंकि ऐसा एक्सपर्ट्स कह रहे हैं कि उनको एकदम से अगर जानकारी मिली थी किसी नक्सल ऑपरेशन के लिए जाने के लिए, तो अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि रोड ओपनिंग पार्टीज अगर अवेलेबल फौरन नहीं होती हैं और सरकारी गाड़ी को क्योंकि नक्सल्स पहचानते हैं तो रेंटेड गाड़ियां ली जाती हैं। लेकिन क्या कहीं ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक ट्रैप था जिसमें ये इंटेलिजेंस जान करके दी गई इस पुलिस पार्टी को कि यहाँ नक्सली हैं, वहाँ ऑपरेशन हो सकता है, और ऐसा नहीं था कि अभी बहुत अर्ली है ये कहने के लिए?
देखिए, ये अर्ली है, परंतु नक्सली हमेशा ट्रैप करते हैं, वो सूचना भिजवाते हैं कि यहाँ पर नक्सली हैं, और जब पुलिस पार्टी, पुलिस पर्सन जाते हैं तो उनको हमला कर आईडी कर या फायरिंग कर ब्लास्ट कर वो मार देते हैं। हमेशा ये होता है, और हो सकता है ये भी ट्रैप हो, और ये तो स्ट्रेटेजिकल हम कह सकते हैं कि वो प्राइवेट गाड़ी में क्यों गए या रेंटेड गाड़ी में क्यों गए, परंतु निश्चित रूप से मुझे जहां तक जानकारी है कि रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी लगभग सभी बटालियंस या सभी कैंप्स के पास में है, और यहाँ पर भी फोर्सेस का मूवमेंट होता है या वीआईपी का मूवमेंट होता है, रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी पहले से जाती है। और रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी क्यों नहीं गई, और गई थी तो क्या उन्होंने आईडी को डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाए? अभी तो बहुत साल पहले तो साधन सुविधाएं भी नहीं थी, अब तो आईडी को डिटेक्ट करने की साधन सुविधाएं भी हो गई हैं। उसके बाद भी इतनी बड़ी घटना का घटित होना, ये इस बात को साबित करता है कि नक्सली अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज करवा रहे हैं। आज छत्तीसगढ़ में आने वाले नवंबर में चुनाव है, अगर हमने उनको नियंत्रित नहीं किया तो आने वाला समय हमारे लिए बहुत खतरनाक साबित हो सकता है।
ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, आपसे हमारे साथ बने रहने की रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे। दीपक बैज, कांग्रेस एमपी फ्रॉम बस्तर, इज आल्सो जॉइनिंग अस ऑन द अदर लाइन। दीपक बैज, we were speaking to ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल। वो कह रहे हैं कि जैसे जैसे चुनाव नज़दीक आएंगे वैसे वैसे नक्सलियों की जो ये गतिविधियां हैं वो बढ़ेंगी, और अभी जो एक सिग्नल उन्होंने दिया है जिसमें काफ़ी भारी क्षति हुई है, वो बहुत सीरियसली लेना चाहिए। किस प्रकार से आप असेस कर रहे हैं अभी ग्राउंड सिचुएशन को? दीपक बैज जी, दीपक बैज जी, क्या आप हमारे साथ लाइन पे हैं? All right, we seem to have lost our line there. Remember, network in some of these areas is not very good connectivity, and therefore we'll try and link back to him again. Going back for the meanwhile to Brijmohan Agarwal, BJP leader from Chhattisgarh. Brijmohan Agarwal जी, अगर चुनाव के नज़दीक आते नक्सलवाद की गतिविधियां बढ़ेंगी तो किस तरह से सेंटर अब प्रॉमिस करता है स्टेट को हेल्प करने की, छत्तीसगढ़ को हेल्प करने की, ताकि ये काबू में लाया जाए? क्योंकि एक डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस को बढ़ाना इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि नक्सली इसमें विश्वास नहीं रखते हैं।
निश्चित रूप से नक्सली जो है वो बैलेट के ऊपर में विश्वास नहीं करते, वो बुलेट के ऊपर में विश्वास करते हैं, और इसलिए सरकार को भी बुलेट का जवाब बुलेट से देने के लिए तैयार होना चाहिए। और जब तक नक्सलियों के आतंक से बड़ा हमारी सुरक्षा फोर्सेस का आतंक नहीं होगा, तब तक हम उनको काबू में नहीं कर पाएंगे। और मुझे लगता है कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट तो लगातार आर्म्स एम्युनिशन फोर्सेस के लिए सपोर्ट दे रही है, परंतु स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उसको यूटिलाइज कर और उसका उपयोग करे। और लगातार सेंट्रल की जो हमारे पास में सेंट्रल की 10,000 से ज्यादा फोर्सेस छत्तीसगढ़ में हैं, परंतु उनका जो उपयोग स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को करना चाहिए, मुझे लगता है वो ठीक तरीके से कर नहीं पा रही है, और उसके कारण भी ये स्थिति पैदा हो रही है कि नक्सलवादी लगातार यहाँ पर इंसिडेंट कर रहे हैं और उनका जवाब छत्तीसगढ़ पुलिस नहीं दे पा रही है।
लेकिन जो हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं ब्रिजमोहन जी, वो जो एरिया है उसमें अभी हाल फिलहाल में और पहले भी ये स्पेसिफिकली एरिया है जहाँ पे बहुत बार माओवादी अटैक कर चुके हैं। फिर ऐसा क्यों है कि यहाँ पर ही माओवादियों की जो गतिविधि है उस पर काबू करना मुश्किल हो रहा है? क्या लोकल सपोर्ट जी, ओवरग्राउंड वर्कर्स हैं, लोकल सपोर्ट है, क्या वजह क्या है?
देखिए, एक तो ये जो एरिया है वो एरिया, जंगल का एरिया है। हमारी जो फोर्सेस हैं वो रास्ता नहीं जानती हैं, और वो जो रास्ते हैं नक्सलवादी रास्ते जानते हैं, परंतु ये जो फोर्स के जवान थे, ये डीआरजी फोर्सेस के जवान थे, जो लोकल लड़के थे, जो सरेंडर नक्सली थे, वो लोग थे। तो कहीं ना कहीं इनके पास में जो हमारी इंटेलिजेंस फेलवर होती है और उनकी इंटेलिजेंस मजबूत होती है, और हम उनके ट्रैप में फंस जाते हैं। और इसलिए हमको लोकल इन्वॉल्वमेंट और लोकल लोगों का जो नक्सलियों के साथ में इन्वॉल्वमेंट है उसको हमको दूर करने की जरूरत है। उनके इंटेलिजेंस को फेलवर कर हमारी इंटेलिजेंस को मजबूत करने की जरूरत है। अगर हम इस काम को करते हैं तो हम नक्सलवादियों को सबक सिखा सकते हैं।
ब्रिजमोहन जी हमारे साथ रहिएगा। दीपक बैज इज बैक विद अस ऑन द लाइन। दीपक बैज जी, क्या लोकल्स एक तरह से बीच में फंस जाते हैं? उनके पास भी कोई एक एग्जिट या एस्केप रूट नहीं होता? एक तरफ माओवादी, दूसरी तरफ जो उन पे प्रेशर है कि वो सरकार का साथ दे, फोर्सेस का साथ दे। क्या उनके लिए भी एक डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन है? क्या उसी वजह से हम देखते हैं कि माओवादी जो उन पर एक फियर क्रिएट करते हैं, उसकी वजह से इस तरह के हादसे अंजाम दे पाते हैं वो? Deepak Baid ji? All right, we don't seem to have our link again back with him. ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, इस सवाल का आप जवाब देंगे। लोकल्स भी तो एक तरह से माओवादियों के प्रेशर में रहते हैं। आफ्टर ऑल लोकल एरिया में माओवादी अगर वहां पर हैं तो उन पे अटैक कर सकते हैं। क्या वो फियर में रहते हैं? ब्रिजमोहन जी?
जी
ब्रिजमोहन जी, ये सवाल आपसे पूछ रही थी। जो लोकल्स की जो सिचुएशन होती है, अब
देखिए निश्चित रूप से जो लोकल्स हैं वो लोकल्स दोनों तरफ से पिसते हैं। एक तरफ माओवादियों से भी पिसते हैं और जो सुरक्षा के जवान है उनसे भी पिसते हैं। इसलिए हमको कहीं ना कहीं ये आइडेंटिफाई करना होगा कि कौन लोग माओवादियों के साथ में है और कौन लोग जनता है जो है वो सरकार के साथ में है। और माओवादियों के साथ में भी जाने की उनकी मजबूरी होती है कि अगर वो माओवादियों के साथ नहीं जाएंगे तो उनके परिवार के लोगों की हत्या कर दी जाएगी, उनके लोगों को अपहरण कर दिया जाएगा। तो हमको ये जो फियर है इसको समाप्त करना पड़ेगा और सरकार को ये विश्वास दिलाना पड़ेगा कि आपकी सुरक्षा के लिए सरकार सक्षम है, माओवादी आपका कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाएंगे। जिस दिन लोकल्स को हम ये विश्वास दिला देंगे उस दिन लोकल्स अब धीरे धीरे हमारी फोर्सेस को इनपुट मिलना बढ़े हैं, सरकार की इंटेलिजेंस भी मिलना बढ़ी है। तो ईमानदारी के साथ में जो काम करने वाले पुलिस ऑफिसर्स हैं उनको वहां पर नियुक्त करना चाहिए, जो कि अपने CSR फंड का भी ठीक से उपयोग करें और वहां पर पब्लिक के लिए वेलफेयर के काम हमको ज्यादा से ज्यादा करने चाहिए, जिससे कि माओवादियों से पब्लिक दूर होकर और प्रशासन के साथ में जनता जुड़े।
ब्रिजमोहन जी, अभी जो अटैक हुआ है जिसमें 11 लोगों की मौत हो गई, 10 पुलिसमैन, 1 ड्राइवर, अभी करंटली आपको लगता है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशंस किस तरफ होने चाहिए? कि क्या SOP जो है वो फॉलो नहीं हुआ? उनको कैसे पता था वो यही रास्ता लेंगे? ये एक पक्की सड़क है और उसमें IED लगा हुआ था इतना ज़्यादा कि सड़क उड़ गई, एक बड़ा सा क्रेटर बन गया और एक पूरी गाड़ी हवा में उछल के 10 से 12 फीट ऊपर जाके नीचे गिरी है। तो कैसे किसी का उसमें जिंदा बचना पॉसिबल है सर?
देखिए, पूरे उस इलाके में दंतेवाड़ा, बीजापुर, सुकमा, नारायणपुर बहुत पहले से IED वहां पर बिछाई हुई है और जब माओवादियों को कोई इंसिडेंट करना होता है तो कनेक्ट कर इस प्रकार का इंसिडेंट कर देते हैं और पक्की सड़कों को भी वो उड़ा देते हैं। तो बचना तो मुश्किल था, परंतु कहीं ना कहीं हमारी गलती है कि हमने SOPs का पालन किया कि नहीं किया, रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी गई कि नहीं गई, वहां पर कहीं हम ट्रैप में तो नहीं आ गए। हमने कंफर्मेशन अब तो किसी समय पर तो जब हम लोग इस शुरुआत के दिनों में देखते थे तो इंफॉर्मेशन के कोई सोर्सेज नहीं होते थे। अभी तो इंफॉर्मेशन के सोर्सेज, वायरलेस सेट, मोबाइल्स इतनी बड़ी संख्या में है, तो कहीं पर भी मूवमेंट के पहले जो फोर्स को कमांड करते हैं उन लोगों को इस बात की जानकारी लेना चाहिए कि जब हम फोर्स को भेज रहे हैं तो कहीं हम ट्रैप में तो नहीं फंस रहे हैं। आज तो ड्रोन भी हैं, ड्रोन के माध्यम से भी उस एरिया में फोर्सेस पता कर सकती हैं कि वहां पर नक्सलवादी तो नहीं है। परंतु मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये जो हमारे 11 जवान शहीद हुए हैं, इनको ऑपरेट करने वाले लोगों ने अति उत्साह में ये काम कर दिया और जो SOPs का पालन करना चाहिए उसका पालन नहीं किया और उसके कारण इतनी बड़ी घटना, हमारे 11 जवानों को अपनी जान गंवानी पड़ी।
ब्रिजमोहन अग्रवाल जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए और वक्त निकालने के लिए शुक्रिया। ये दिस वाज अ वेरी ट्रैजिक टाइम टू एक्चुअली स्पीक विद यू, बट you've given us a lot of details on how SOPs are followed, what kind of coordination now one will see between the centre and not just Chhattisgarh but the other neighbouring states as well, because remember, this is a tri-junction where this attack has been carried out by the Maoists, and they can slip into any of the states and therefore any of the neighbouring states, and therefore it is important that there is close coordination among those states as well as the central government. Let me go across to Anurag Dwari, who's joining us with details now. Anurag, I understand that the central forces have rushed to that area now as well. What further details are you picking up from the ground?
Maha, first of all, I would like to tell you the names of the martyred in this particular incident. Joga Sodi, Munaram Karti, Santosh Thamo, Dulgo Mandavi, Lakhmu Markam, Joga Kawasi, Hariram Mandavi, Raju Kartam, Jairam Podiam, Jagdish Kawasi and Dhaniram Yadav. He was the driver of that tempo traveler in which all these personnel from the district reserve guards were coming back from Aranpur. And at 11 o'clock they got the news that about the presence of Maoists in the jungles of Aranpur, and while coming back Maoists used around 50 kgs of explosive IED. And that blew off their vehicle. There were 4 to 5 vehicles on rent through which the DRG Jawans were traveling back to their headquarters. This DRG is a specialized force of the local surrendered Naxals and the local youths from Bastar region only. So they are very well aware of the demography of the language, and they are well aware of with the area. So how this lapse can happen, this is a big question, because they know how the movement of the Naxals. Mostly they travel by foot and they cover around 30-40 kilometers per day to sanitize the area, and this has happened with the DRG Jawan. With the DRG Jawans, for me, this is like a big question mark on the security establishment, that how this can happen with the personnel of the DRG.
Anurag, one important point that one needs to know here is the information that this police party had got with regards to Naxals being present. They had gone for an anti-Naxal operation, I understand. Do we know any details about the success of that anti-Naxal operation from which they were returning?
See, I asked the same question from a very senior official, and to which he replied, देखिए नक्सलियों को तो एक ही बार सफल होना होता है और हमको बार बार उनको विफल करना होता है. That means they need to succeed only once. So they got this tip off that about the presence of Naxals in Aranpur, and they have ambushed few years back the local BJP MLA and a team of Doordarshan employees there in near Aranpur, and now they got this tip off that Maoists are present in that particular area, and acting on that tip off, the DRG Jawans went there, and while coming back this has happened. Maha?
All right, Anurag Dwari there giving us the details of the dastardly Naxal attack that has taken place in Dantewada, in which 11 people, including 10 policemen and 1 driver, have lost their lives.